Hello, I'm here with Florian Marcard from Bosch in Lund. And Bosch is, of course, a company that has a very large software development and software engineering tradition, and very many people working on that. And one of the topics that we are discussing here within Software Center is what is happening to software engineering in the age of AI. If we look at generative AI, agentic AI, I think there's a lot of things happening, Florian. So what do you see happen from Bosch perspective or from your personal perspective?
I think there's a transition towards that. Number one is, of course, you need to have everything in place in order to have the data that you want to work with, because you need to train the AI models with your data so that you have specific products and use cases that you work on. Number one, of course, or number two is then you need to have the workforce, you need to have the competencies. But I also believe that the roles will change, right? Now we're coding by hand, now we're testing by hand, now we're automating, but this will be becoming more and more AI driven, where models take over the coding as well as the testing and the validation.
Yeah. So I know that the site in Lund is very well known for being innovative and doing lots of new things within Bosch overall. Is there any specific examples that you can share that you can publicly talk about to illustrate what you just shared?
Yeah, we're using AI models now to, for example, to review what we do in the pipelines when it comes to errors and messages that we get in the pipelines, where we usually put our best people on to analyze millions of lines of code. That is all driven now by AI itself. So that gives us speed. That also gives us more and more predictability of the code that we are actually releasing and deploying. So these are small experimentations that we start and that we're rolling out now.
So what does this mean? I mean, there are some people that feel that we're moving towards a world where it will be one engineer with a set of agents replacing one or more agile teams. Is that where you think the world is going? Or how do you think organizations should think about organizing things?
I think that is definitely a possibility of where it is going, that you need smaller teams because more and more will be AI driven. However, the way we see it, of course, we want to grow. That also means we actually want to put the workforce where the workforce is needed in the roles that they're needed in.
Yeah, because one of the thoughts that I've had is, on the one hand, we see that the existing work will require, I think, fewer people because of AI. So companies have to find ways in order to deliver more value, in order to have the people that are in the company be able to create that value then, right? And where will that value come from? If we look, for instance, I mean, Bosch, I think 2/3 of the revenue is from automotive, if I'm not mistaken. So where do you see that value will be created? Do you have any ideas there?
I think that can still be in the automotive world or in different industries. I think right now we're putting a lot of workforce onto things that we shouldn't be doing, like, looking at commodity software, looking at bugs, looking at the process side of things. I think we will put the workforce onto actually creating value for customers, be this in the automotive world or in other industries. And I think then we can switch to really creating value and not just fixing things in our system that is broken.
Yeah, because I think that if we look at this, the different aspects of the life cycle, there's the requirements management, there's architecture design, development, there's testing, there's runtime monitoring of systems. In all those phases of the life cycle, we see that AI is playing a bigger and bigger role. And that's what you also see at Bosch, I understand.
Yes. And what I'm interested in and curious to see is, will we still think in those same old roles?
Yes, exactly. So this morning I gave a talk about learning systems. You were in the audience looking really angry at me. Maybe not so angry.
I was happy.
Yeah, good. Does that way of thinking resonate with you? Or how do you see the future of software-intensive systems?
It was a new thought to some extent, but I think it goes in the direction that we're thinking as well, that systems will, create itself as well, optimize itself. Sometimes when I ask people and they tell me about how great the prompt was that they wrote, I was like, why didn't you ask the system to write a better prompt? Right. So I think this is where we also, as humans, we need to learn to think differently and to approach the system differently. And then get more and better results out of it.
Yeah, good. If I was a young master student coming out of a computer science or software engineering program, what advice would you give me?
Dive into Gen AI, dive into AI, really go full in, don't hesitate, be open for it, be curious, and then go your way.
Good. And with that, Florian, thank you very much for a wonderful chat. I appreciate it.